what's been going on in the last 48 hours within like the Washington Commanders base. I think you probably heard a little bit of it.
Yeah,
Is the whole element of bringing in all these quarterback prospects such as Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy,
yeah,
Jaden Daniels, and Drake May to all be in a collective space with one another doing their 30 visits, which we both know like that's not typically common.
hmm,
But how do you feel about that? So from what we've heard, they took them out to Top Golf, which is not that far away from the facility,
yeah,
to spend some time together. And we don't know what happened within the building, how they
hmm,
did those meetings. But how do you
hmm,
feel about that? And then a second portion of that, Jaden Daniels' agent Ron Butler, who has
hmm,
represented a lot of top tier guys in this league, like Levante David,
hmm,
also recently Hamlin.
hmm.
He ended up kind of like questioning, the fact of how that visit particularly went. How do you feel about that? And can you touch on that?
Yeah. Well, first, let me say this: it isn't uncommon for teams to bring in a bunch of guys at once at different positions, and instead of spreading it out over the course of, let's say, the month of April, that they'll bring them in all in one visit, or bring them in like one or two visits, like 15 and 15 or something like that. Okay. And that's when, maybe you're picking mid first round, late first round. I mean, whatever it is. Okay. Because at this time of year, at this point, you pretty much have put in the work to the degree where are pretty sure of where this guy slots in your on your overall board, and how comfortable you are as far as these individuals fitting into your organization. What makes this one that makes you scratch your head a little bit, well, actually not a little bit, a lot, is this: the draft essentially starts with Washington. Okay, they essentially have the number one pick, because you can kind of take Chicago and just set them off to the side. Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears have only brought in, to my knowledge, one quarterback. They've only brought in one guy. They've only talked to one guy, because they have the first choice, and they've already told Caleb it's yours. That's who we what that you're our guy. You're who we have targeted. That's that. So really, the draft starts with Washington. So Washington right now doesn't need to run any kind of like distraction campaign. They don't have to put any lies out there. They don't have to play any games. They have the entire draft field minus Caleb Williams, for all intents and purposes, at their disposal. They can have whoever they want. So right now, and see, here's the thing. Now we're also talking about quarterback. We know quarterback is going to be the pick. We know that they have to find that franchise-defining pillar, foundational, whatever noun you want to use, adjective you want to use. That's the player, that's the position they're looking for. That guy. At this point, where you are 7 days away from making this pick, you have to be pretty locked in on which guy it is that you're looking at. And right now, time is of the essence. NFL front offices don't have time to mess around here and play this kind of junior G-man dating game where it's like, let's just bring them all in and line them up, and let's just see which one we like. Let's just see which one stands out. That's not how this goes.
Like
This is a
Love is
high
Blind.
stakes. Exactly. This is a high stakes business, man. A lot of stuff is on the line right now. They're trying to hit the ground running here, and really make the Washington fan base feel as though we're setting this thing off on the right foot. Here's your hero. This is our guy. This is the guy we're going to ride with going forward. And everything we do is going to start with making sure we support this individual. And we're going to build this thing from the inside out, and make sure he is set up and good to go. So now you're telling me you're going to bring in all these guys because you're still not like to me, this makes me feel as though in the building there are varying opinions about who they feel that guy needs to be, or who they feel is the best person for that job. Otherwise, considering all the other issues that they have on the football team, and I don't mean issues, I'm basically saying all the other holes and all the other things that they need to take care of, you don't have time to mess around with hanging out at Top Golf with five quarterbacks at the most important position on the team, nonetheless, and trying to figure out, well, which one do I like, sitting here sharing a hamburger with the most, or which one do I like how he gets on with the other guys the most. That's not how really this goes, especially not here in the 11th hour like that. So again, this brings me back to, there are varying opinions, and they're trying to find tiebreakers. And honestly, if I'm Jaden Daniels right now, who I heard you guys saying in the beginning, I would pick number 1 overall, even above Caleb Williams anyway. And that's not, again, just to put this out there again, this doesn't mean I don't like Caleb Williams because I love the kid. I've met them all. Yeah. I just prefer Jaden Daniels, as simple as that. If I'm him right now, I'm sitting there going, look, personally, let's be real about it. I'm sitting there going, what the hell is going on here? Wait a minute. I got people who believe I'm the best player in this draft, period. And now I'm in here with a bunch of other guys, no disrespect to them, and you're trying, like, what are you doing? Why aren't you locking in on me? And why aren't you getting me to lock in on you? Why aren't we already building that relationship the same way that Caleb Williams is building the relationship with Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator? Like, he's building that relationship up there in Chicago. Why aren't you locking in on me? This is as important a decision for the Washington franchise as it is for Chicago at 1. The same way it was last year with Bryce in Carolina and CJ in Houston. It's the same thing. So, yeah, I would be a little annoyed by it. I'd be a little disenchanted by it. I'd have a lot of questions about it for sure. And see, there's this – look, if this was a group of 15, 20 guys from various different positions and we were picking 23rd, 24th, I wouldn't even bat an eye at this kind of thing. I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. That's just their methodology as far as handling these top 30 visits. I don't care. Don't really matter. They have their decisions pretty much made up already. But when you're talking about a decision that carries this kind of importance at that position at the 11th hour, and this is what you're doing, and you're a new ownership group with a new head coach who's been a head coach before, and this tells me maybe Adam Peters has one thought, maybe Magic Johnson has another thought, maybe Dan Quinn has another thought. Maybe Cliff Kingsbury has another. Who knows what? We don't know. It brings up more questions than it provides answers. That's for sure.
So, Lewis, I mean, we're kind of talking about how quirky this